So I found a whole gang of these Dolly Parton meals in ShopRite. I tried her dessert. She had two different types of pies, and I thought one of them was really good. So when I saw this, I said, you know what? Let me try all these out. Again, I found these in ShopRite. The family style mac and cheese, you can see, is hanging off right over here, and that is $12.99, but the rest of these were about $5, 5 and change a piece. As it is with most of these types of reviews, you're gonna see me with change of clothes a lot because I'm gonna do this over the course of like a week or so because I can't just eat all of these in one day. That's just not a smart idea. So I already made the mac and cheese, which I have right here. I'm gonna put these back in the freezer and let's try these out. This is a family style. It only comes in party size. Originally it's $20, but I found it on sale for $12. So I finally pulled the trigger on this. It took me a while to actually say, you know what, screw it. So I have a lot of macaroni and cheese to give away here. This takes 60 to 65 minutes in the oven at 400 degrees. It takes a very long time, but it comes in a giant party tray. So I already got this pre-made over here with this giant thing you could see. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put it in a glass. This way I can give the rest away. Now, I do have a disclaimer. I actually think Dolly Parton seems like a really good person, but we're just judging the food here. So don't take any bias if I don't or do like something. I know people are weird with that kind of stuff, but I'm going to be right off the bat. When I took this out, this just looks like Velveeta mac and cheese. And I have very low expectations for this, but I am notoriously picky with my mac and cheese, so I do have to say that. Sorry for talking so much, but I feel like this is necessary. Let's try this out. Still hot. Okay. I just don't, this is not my type of mac and cheese. I don't think I'm the target demographic for this mac and cheese. It's not for me. But I will say this, again, taking my own bias and giving people recommendations. If you're a fan of like KFC or even Dave's Hot Chicken mac and cheese, I think you will enjoy this, but I don't like those either. It just, the noodles and the cheese sauce is very runny, and it doesn't have any other flavor other than like a diluted cheese sauce to me. If you like this and you like KFC's mac and cheese, you may like this, but I'm a one and done on this bite, and I'm going to give this one, for me, a 1 out of 10. And next up, we have her beef pot roast. 3 minutes, stir, another 3 minutes, and out comes this. Potatoes, carrots, celery, and beef in some sort of like brown gravy. Now, beef pot roast usually for me has to be served with like some sort of rice or mashed potatoes. Big steamy spoon right here, so this is probably gonna hurt, but I'm still gonna do it. There's something in this that has a very off aftertaste. The beef isn't that bad as far as like a frozen meal. It's pretty tender. Potatoes are fine, carrots are fine. And nothing wrong with that. I can't pinpoint. I swear to goodness, I feel like I'm tasting whiskey. Salted whiskey. I thought I was losing my mind. There's something in there that has a really weird alcoholic taste. Now, it doesn't taste like alcohol, but when you cook it out, it's in there. And that kind of ruins the gravy personally for me. For a frozen meal, slightly below average. Again, if you don't mind that whiskey taste, you'll like it better than I do. But that it destroys it for me personally. So I'm going to give that one a 3.5 out of 10. I really hope the rest of these is good. I don't want to sit here and say I don't like all of that. I'm never the type of person that does that, but we'll find out tomorrow because I'm done for today. Next up, we have the shrimp and grits. These were the easiest ones to cook so far. It was just 5 or 6 minutes. You didn't have to vent anything. No vent necessary. So nice big heaping scoop right here. Let's see what we got. So these say they're shrimp with cheddar grits topped with cherry tomatoes and scallions in a spicy sauce. I've had shrimp and grits a few times. This is just like a very different shrimp and grits recipe than I'm used to. So I'm trying to keep an open mind here. I don't know what it is, these frozen shrimp, but they have a really fishy aftertaste, and it's kind of just throwing me off a little bit. Again, it's a frozen dinner, so I'm trying to keep like an open mind with this, but I want to like these. I can't say that I do. The best and most acceptable part of this is like the cheese grits part, but like that sauce, whatever this spicy sauce is, it isn't spicy at all. Then you get the acid from the tomato, and it's just like, the worst part is the shrimp. It's not moving me. I have to be honest, and I hate doing this. I feel like I haven't liked anything yet, but just keeping it a buck, this is a 3 out of 10. If you took and just gave me the cheese grits, I'd eat it. But other than that, I can't do it. Next up, we have the chicken and dumplings. This one says it's white meat chicken and dumplings with vegetables in a creamy stew sauce. This one was 3 minutes, stir, and then another 3 minutes. I do like chicken and dumplings when they're made right. Again, I have to say this to reiterate. I understand these are frozen meals, so I'm judging that accordingly. I'm not judging this on any type of these meals I've had, just strictly for a frozen meal. So I'm trying to keep an open mind here, but chicken cubes, a little bit of dumplings, some carrots, and some celery in here. This is the first one I've had that, again, for a frozen meal, it's not that bad. There's always going to be like some little aftertaste that you get from these. There's some huge huge pieces of carrot in here, and they're not mushy, which is a good thing. It kind of just tastes like a chicken pot pie without the crust that you would get from like any of these frozen types of, you know, maybe Marie Callender or something like that. So this one honestly isn't bad. It's the first one I've had that I can genuinely say for a frozen meal I would eat and possibly buy again. So I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. First people we had, thank goodness. I didn't want to just say like these were all trash. I hate doing food like reviews like that. And for our grand finale, we are doing the country fried steak, which also comes with mashed potatoes and a country style gravy and a side of seasoned green beans and smoky bacon. This one was the longest one to cook. You have to do 4 minutes and then turn the steak over, stir the mashed potatoes, and then cook for an additional 3.5 minutes. So 7.5 minutes in total with this one. But we're going to grab some mashed potatoes. I'm going to do the steak after this one, but this is the bite with just the mashed potatoes and the green beans. This tastes like, I don't know if anybody had the old school banquet ones. Very, very similar. I'm going to have to cut this steak, so I'm going to go to the workbench for this one and cut this. This is, yeah, it's pretty tough. Let's get a piece of the steak. It reminds me a lot of the old banquet ones. This looks exactly like a hamburger. The texture, more Salisbury steak than hamburger. But it really does remind me of that banquet fried chicken or the country fried steak that you would get in the old one, which kind of gives me a little bit of a nostalgia vibe. So I don't mind this, even though it doesn't look very appetizing. The white gravy doesn't really taste like anything. Again, it's a frozen meal. Let's try these green beans. They don't look very seasoned, but they do have a little bit of like a pork and bacon flavor from the bacon. When you get them, usually it's like swimming in that. These are like very dry green beans. It tastes like your average frozen dinner. And some people actually may like this. I don't mind it, but I definitely wouldn't buy it again, if that makes sense. Unless I was just in like a weird mood. But this one on a frozen dinner scale reminds me a lot of the banquet. And I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. So for those of you that haven't been around long enough, I did do a couple of these frozen dinner type of hauls on the main channel. I did a Gordon Ramsay, I did a Guy Fieri, and there were 2 or 3 other ones that I did that I gave a lot higher scores than this. So I'm kind of judging it against that. And a lot of these just don't measure up. Now, I understand that when it comes to these, it's marketing. Like, it's not Dolly Parton herself making this to use her name and likeness and kind of make recipes. And that's what they've done with a whole line of these in grocery stores. I am well aware of that. Guy Fieri had a few decent ones. Quite honestly, one of the worst ones that I've had of the ones. I liked her pies and stuff like that she had, but these just really missed the mark, even just judging against a frozen dinner. I'm not trying to be harsh. I'm just giving my honest opinion on these. I would say for these, even if you're like interested, and I would get the pies and stuff like that, even if you want to support, and just give a pass on these. That's going to be the end of this, man. I don't like negative ones overall, but my main goal here is to always give like an honest opinion with constructive criticism, not just laying into things. So I hope I was able to convey that. That's going to be the end of these. I got a whole bunch of frozen dinners here now.